So guys, it's actually been over a year since I posted a Solar Sunday video. I've been tinkering with things here and there, but only a little bit. Getting things lined up. I just haven't really felt like it that much, but I've found some good uses for things. Well, first of all, I recently was given some of these little basic stamps, which I think I can actually utilize to make a cute little 1999 era solar charge controller, just to find a use for those. And I also have this, which goes from 24 volts down to USB or USB-C. And that can charge my VR headset really well. Just as a note, when I ordered this, you have to remove the fuse because it's just too powerful. The capacitors are so big that when you connect it to a battery, it pops it. So I'm not using this Siemens panel right now, this 18-watt one. I have these two panels that were, honestly, these are the odd ducks of my collection. I ordered those. They said they were 12 volts, and they are literally 12 volts. They don't go over 12 volts. So that's a little bit difficult to use for lead-acid batteries because they need direct sunlight, and then they'll barely make 12.2 volts or something like that. But that kind of works for this. So all of a sudden, they're kind of useful in series because I found this about 2 years ago now. It's a 24 volt, 4 amp hour lithium ion battery. I actually used this at Maker Faire. I had a lead coming off for the 12 volt section that I used for a backpack solar thing. But now that I have a way to use the 24 volts, these panels paired together seem like they've made a good match. I had this just laying down and it was giving like 100 milliamps. But now propping it up with that IKEA watering tin, it's getting 0.3. Before it was doing 0.38. And we're now to the point where we get only maybe an hour or so of significant light issues. Because the sun, it kind of clips outside of the building. And I bet that's only for a few more days. I've been helping a friend who has a bunch of 80-20, and he wants to make 80-20 stuff, and he very well might give me some 80-20 to build a frame for this. Now, as for this frame, this was designed to go in the bathroom because that's the exact same width, and so I can have an 18-watt panel sitting out the bathroom. But I never got around to building a 12-volt battery for it. I've been too busy with my work, and I'm contemplating having the two 10-watt panels feeding this. I got this angle aluminum for free, but I wasn't happy with the prospects of this wood. So that's why I never made the video of it. I just wasn't really happy with it, so I just had it sitting in the window. But not bad. Not bad at all. Let's connect it without this so then we can check the voltage. This battery pack was down quite a bit, down to about 17 or 18 volts, because last night, even though it was at 19.7 volts, we had a power outage, and I had built this. I've decided to switch over to, it was like 5.5 millimeter barrel jacks for everything, because I ordered a big connection, a big box of the connectors. So now everything, I'm going with this. And it's actually helped out with modularity quite a bit. So I just connected this up, and we had plenty of light, because this light, amazingly enough, it can take anywhere from 10 volts to 30 volts. And there's the model number for anybody that wishes to have that. So I was able to get quite a bit of light. I see it's recovered quite a bit. Just with a little bit of light earlier on, it got back up to 19.8 volts, which I was pretty happy to see. Now it's on the long climb, putting back enough power to finally get past like the 3.6 volts per cell. And at this point, that's whenever it really starts taking more power to go up. That's where most of the meat of the power storage is. I really like how it looks with the sunlight coming through the blue. I wish I could find some of the very rare red-backed solar panels. A few manufacturers did make solar panels with red, but I've only seen them as they were made by German manufacturers in the 1960s and 1970s. We'll come back to this in a bit. It's morning and the sun is slowly coming up over the building. And the sun slowly, we're in like a transitory period here where the shade is giving way to sunlight. And one thing I forgot is that I need to press the power button, the test, and then it lets it pull more power. So there's some intelligence in the BMS in there. It's a new morning. We have a little bit of an overcast day, but the sun's finally coming over the other building. And I believe I've lost some of my progress because I left it plugged in too long. I believe these panels might not have a diode in them. So they do kind of... Oh wait, did I have this connected up right? Oh wow, for once I actually have this connected up right. So if I just have it connected to this panel, it pulls more current. So I'm gonna have to make sure that I actually get because I've been struggling to get it to medium charge. I need to make sure I get a diode on here. But these panels, I originally thought they might be good for Arduino experiments. I gave up on the Solar Sunday video because it became overcast, started raining like crazy. So I ended up just spending time building a little valve for an air conditioning system. And look at this. It wasn't even in the forecast. We got some sunlight. Wow. Okay. Let's connect it up. Oh yeah, I did connect it right. Now we're getting, it's maybe 4 or 5 watts of power. Not bad. Oh, look at that. Now we got that. That might be close to 9 watts of power. Going down now, of course, but whatever. I must have caught it at the perfect time. That makes me happy. All right, there's enough messing around in that way. I just have them sitting on some old 1990s server hard drives. We have the window open, up to here. And that works great. Sunlight is spotty, but oh well. Yeah, so these panels, I believe that the maximum power point, the voltage at which they give out the most power is something around the point of 11 volts, maybe 10.5 volts. So that won't be too good for this. These always be running a bit low, running this. So I'm still thinking I might want to push these towards being an Arduino or lab potato, little like Raspberry Pi type thing. I could run that pretty well. And this channeling on the side, now that really appeals to me because I can mount to it. If only I had stuff to mount with. But it's one of those things where I'll decide to buy it one of these days, and then I'll have the mounting hardware. Something like this I think would be good to keep at the apartment because I can definitely make a 12-volt system. I just don't have any 12-volt batteries at the moment. That's my issue, really. Maybe I can get some company to send me a free battery because I'm not buying any more batteries. Any of the other ones come to me, kind of like all this stuff comes to me. This is in the trash. This was in recycling. These were $10 each, if I remember, or maybe $15 each. They were a little bit of a splurge, and that was too. I spent about $40 on that because I really liked how it looked. And also, it's one of my oldest solar panels, besides one that I bought in 1998. But that's just a tiny little Radio Shack one that I had as a kid. So yeah, I'm still undecided about this. I'm undecided if I want to have this here or if we should maybe make a computer system that would go on top of some building. Now, once again, this is something I splurged money on a long time ago, earlier last year, and I probably should not have bought it, but I wanted to. It was about $30. Or maybe it was $25 actually. But it's the Le Potato. Back whenever Raspberry Pis were so difficult to find, and this can also run, if I remember right, on like 2 watts of power. And it can even host websites and stuff. So I was kind of wondering if I should make a solar powered website. And I think that those panels would go really well with that. Definitely really well. I believe these panels are about from the 1990s to the early 2000s. And I also believe that these are sometimes used for lighting technology. Like things that are on the side of railroad tracks and stuff like that, like distributed solar. I'm under the impression that they're 10-watt panels. Those are the only bits of information I could find. This could be a Solarex panel because they make a lot of panels like that, but it could also be a knockoff of a Solarex panel. And I just like the versatility of tiny panels like this. You can tell that they were mounted together in some way like that. Extruded aluminum is always so expensive that I can never really build with it. I can barely even buy the hardware it is. So, I mean, as it is. So, I really like these panels because they have some purple in them. They actually have a little bit of purple. By far, my favorite polycrystalline panels. And these might be my favorite monocrystalline panels. Although I don't like how it's degraded. Probably due to oxygen or some impurities. But it's been like that since, well, years ago. It is such a question, though. A question of what to do with it. Because I could run a tiny board computer with it. That is an option. I don't think that these basic stamps take very much power at all. And they can take, I believe, 9 to 15 volts. So that would be in the voltage range. I would need to build a battery for it, though. And I wouldn't want to use an Arduino Leonardo or an Arduino Uno because their analog detection circuits aren't sensitive enough. So they only have enough bits of information that if I want to have an Arduino detect the current draw without buying a current detection circuit, then I won't have the resolution to accurately tell it how many watt hours or watt minutes of power it's created. But the end goal is to either have an e-paper display or have this little beauty right here, and whatever system, it wakes up, checks the power draw, does the math, clicks that up if it needs to be clicked up, saves a number, and then goes to sleep for a minute or 30 seconds and then wakes back up. And it just assumes that that measurement was the same for 30 seconds or 10 seconds or however long. And with a static display like this, you won't be running it all the time like you would with this. So you could have an extremely low power solar monitoring system. I mean, I know I could just spend $20 and get that, but I thought that would be kind of interesting. A good use for some of these things. Although these older ones, they don't have any analog input. So I'd like to hear what you guys think I should do with them, because I feel like this would not necessarily go very well with this, because with this I have 125 watt hours of power and I want to use this for lights and stuff. So I'd rather charge this quicker with a 30 watt or 40 watt panel. I feel like these, and the reason I bought these was because they could go with Arduinos and all sorts of little things. It would be cool to even make like a flip display or whatever fits my fancy, I guess. But I just never have time to work on this stuff because I'm always doing it for other people now. But that's okay. I don't really feel like doing this right now. It's one of those things where the more I step back from it, if I give myself time, I'll feel like tinkering with it. And there's all sorts of little unfun stumbling blocks, like making a 9-pin cable for this. Apparently you need 2 capacitors and a resistor, and I'm like, can I just skip the capacitors and resistors? Maybe, I'll try it, but I've had a few things where I've gotten stuck in the weeds. I guess you'd call it shaving a yak, or yak shaving as the term goes, but people and their horns are weird. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. That's where my projects are at the moment. Now look at this innovative way I found to lose a solar panel out a window. I swear this feels like it's gonna be blown out, especially with this stormy weather we have, but we just happen to be in the middle of 2 storms, so I do not trust this, but it's kind of cool. It's actually really cool. Actually, I guess it is kind of locked in there. Huh. That is wild. In this case, 0.3 amps is about 7 watts. Now it's about 8 watts. So it's about 7 or 8 watts of impromptu solar setup. That's kind of not so bad. I spaced them out so if there is a gust, it'll lose some of the pressure through the middle. This is actually kind of neat. Well, this went absolutely beautiful. I finally got it dialed in. This is on Thingiverse and Printables. I'm glad I decided to play hooky from work today, but I'm not playing hooky from work. I'm just doing at-home work. Let's see if we get any. We're getting a little bit. Okay, not bad. I'd say it's about the end now, though, because the shadow is gonna come over in a few minutes. Still just the one light, but that's kind of what I expected. I have a better feel for how these panels work, though. They definitely lend themselves better to this than to running a VR headset. And just like that, I'm on to another project, but it's a good segue because I'm using that solar power to charge my VR headset. And now I'm going to spend some time, well, I just spent some time sanding the nose piece of my VR headset because I've started using my Vive XR Elite without the face gasket because my nose sticks out too far. Actually, my eyes are too far in. So I have to have my face as close as possible in order to enjoy it. And the best way to do that, just get rid of the face gasket. Now, I'm going to spend some time making some VR chat levels. So this actually goes right into that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, and by the way, this Band-Aid, this is because I couldn't figure out a good cushion to add. So where it sits on my nose, I just put a little Band-Aid there. And it makes it all comfortable. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.